Hey you guys, I've got my little girl Fendi here today. We are going to check her canal because she is due today. I check my girls personally. I always like to check them before they're bred to see how their hips are. There can be strictures, so I always check. And I also check them when they're going into labor for their first litter to make sure that they have a structure that is going to be wide hips. That's a trait that we breed for. We don't just rely on having big females. Even big females can have narrow hips. So this is a trait, especially if, you know, I'm breeding small Yorkies. I need this to be in my lines so that we don't have problems. So she's due. She's 3.2 pounds. Or sorry, she's 3.5. Her sister Gucci is 3.2. Gucci had a litter 5-6 weeks ago and had 1 push for each puppy because her hips were so wide. And I checked her hips before we had the babies, and sure enough, they were huge. And I was not even worried. I'm like, oh, okay, we're not going to have one issue here. So glove up. I always glove up to make sure I'm not putting any bacteria up into the uterus. I always wipe a little bit, and then I insert my finger up towards the hips. And let's see if I can put her back a little further. Good girl. And just check. Every structure is different. I didn't know when, you know, that my first female I checked, I'm like, okay, I checked it. I don't know what any of that means. But I got a better idea as I checked more females, what tight feels like. So you're just going to start at the top of the slit, go up towards the hips, and then in. Some girls will scream if they're a bit of a diva or it's really tight for them. You just have to kind of gauge your female. Okay, so I'm right in past everything. She is nice and open. Nice wide hips, just like her sister. Okay, so I'm going to say I doubt we'd have to have a massive puppy to need a C-section. So I'm very confident we can have a natural litter. That doesn't always mean you're not going to have complications. Obviously, I've had plenty of complications on girls with big hips. 2 puppies coming out at once, or one trying to come out shoulder first or at a bad angle. That still happens. So, but I always like to check my girls. You know, we're breeding for big hips on these little girls. We don't want to have issues. So she's about ready, and I feel pretty good and confident that we will not be in a C-section, because just like physical traits, you know, they're on the inside as well. And you can get small hips from from a mom that has nice big hips. That's why I never skip a check. We check. Even if their mom going back 3 generations has nice wide hips, I still check, because I want to make sure that I know going in what hip situation we have. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'm just sharing my experiences. I'm not giving anyone any advice, and I'm not a veterinarian, so I'm just sharing what I do. And thanks for watching, you guys.